All right, in this episode, we're going to talk about my relationship with my mother, or as I call her, my nanay. As I said earlier, I grew up with my grandparents in a shack with no electricity. I had to walk about almost an hour to get fresh water, but I'm going to tell you, that's another story. I'm going to tell you all about that later. But I'm going to go back to the story of my mother. So my grandparents told me that my parents split up when I was still a baby. And my mother, the whole time was in the rehab, and they said that she had a nervous breakdown and never recovered, and so they had to keep her there. And growing up, it didn't really matter to me much. It's because I have my grandparents and I have a big family, which my grandparents have 15 kids, and imagine how much cousins I have surrounded with me. So I felt like it was just normal. I wasn't looking for parents or my mother or my father. That's another story. My father is another story. And we're going to tell you all about that again in the next episode. But going back to my mother, as I said, I wasn't looking for her until, although I heard a lot of stories that she was, before she went to the rehab, she was already, she was a great person. She was a happy person. She went to Manila. She loves music. And I think that's where I get my blood of music from her and from my father as well. And then suddenly something changed when I started going to elementary school. And my cousins and some of my classmates start teasing me about my mother being crazy, and they start calling me crazy. And like she's the daughter of a crazy woman. So, it's not far that I'm going to be the same thing. That's what they used to tell me. And at the beginning, it didn't bother me, but somehow it's like it was just constant. And hearing it from your family, it will hit you eventually that, wow, you're actually dealing with something in your past, but at the same time your future as well. Because mind you, I have not met my mother yet, and hearing that, it's like it was painful. And being a kid, it's like it will force you to grow up faster, where you question yourself. You start questioning yourself, like what happened, and all these questions I wanted to ask my grandparents, but at the same time didn't really want to talk much about it. So moving on, I finally was able to meet my mother when I was around 8 years old. That day that I met her, she have this huge traveling bag with her with all her stuff, and the first thing I remember is she handed me a candy. It was a white rabbit candy, and I was so happy. And in my mind, I can just it wasn't the stories about how crazy she was and how she hurt some people in the past, but it was just, I was just glad to see her, and I was just happy to see her, and nothing matters. And I remember that day we had a guitar at home, and she started playing guitar, and she started playing a song, and while she was doing that, she was brushing my hair. And I thought it was a great day. So what I've learned from my story with my relationship with my mother is you cannot listen to other people. Whatever they say, whatever was the past, you have to live for today. You can't change it. I cannot have any hatred for my mother. I cannot blame her for not being there for me. But the only thing that I have for her is so much love, so much understanding and compassionate, and in my heart, I can only tell her thank you for bringing me out in this world. And life is not perfect. I mean, I don't have a perfect life, and I know we all go through some stuff, but we have to just be grateful on what we have, be grateful for the people that we love, for for just being here and being able to share whatever we can share to others. And I am a mother of an 11-year-old son, and I look back and what I can share with you and what I've learned is, I always say, I've never heard my mother tell me she loves me. But every time I talk to her on the phone, I always say, Mama, I love you. And this is the least thing I could do. And to my son, I always say, I don't care how much, we're not perfect. We get mad. But at the end of the day, I always say, no matter the situation is. And I always tell my son, we have to tell each other, I love you. It doesn't matter if you're mad at me or I'm mad at you. And I think that's just the meaning of life. You cannot have hatred in your heart. You cannot have anger in your life. It's not going to help you achieve anything. It's not going to help you motivate to do something positive. You just have to be yourself. You just have to know that there's another day tomorrow. And as long as you know and you're aware of the people that surrounds you, that loves you, and you have to let them know that you love them too. Or you can't just expect people to love you and you're not doing the same thing. So it's all of you that has the same experience as me. Nothing is perfect. We try to do the right thing, but every day is a chance for us to do better, to make things right. And all I can tell you all is just be positive, be happy, and it will just show to the people you love, and you will get back the love that you have given to them and more. So I will see you guys on my next video. We're gonna talk about my relationship with my father and maybe my grandfather or my grandparents.